Good morning, everyone. It is 8:50 a.m., November 10th, 2025. It's Monday. It's time to start the week. Wake up. Wake up. It's time. Before we get started, if you wouldn't mind clicking like or subscribe or possibly even dropping us a comment, that would be very helpful to us. It would let me know that you're here and that you are enjoying the content. And yeah, let's do this. Anyway, let's jump in. So last we left off, we were in this section right over here. This was before the weekend. And what I was saying was I am expecting the weekend volume to turn off. And it did. And we're going to get close in here. But look, we got it. It looks like we got that bounce that we were looking for right there. That's cool. Excuse me. Looks like we're working our way back into the range. Yes. So as you can see, the plan did work out. Everything is moving in the direction that we were hoping for. And yeah, so we have to start to figure out a new plan. Nah, it's not really a new plan. Remember I mentioned before that this would be resistance, and I am looking for a third touch. Well, that's still playing a role here. So if we can get up here and then, you know, kind of reject a little bit, then I think we can kind of what is going on with these scribbles? Let me work that a little bit better. If we can come up here, you know, reject a little bit and then break, then I think we're I think we're heading over into this area here. I'm feeling it. I'm definitely feeling it. So this is the rejection area that I'm looking for right now. Now the plan is you know what is the what makes sense? Does it make sense to jump into a possible short in this section and ride this out a little bit? You know, do a little bit of a grab and go, right? Or do we add on to our long? Because honestly, this chart is starting to feel pretty good. Like it's feeling like we should be moving up. Now we can chop around in this section for sure. And if we do chop around in this section, you know, there's more opportunity to add on to our long, right? So if we come back down here and work our way up, then we would be looking at this area for profit taking. So we basically would extend it from this section to shifting the box up to this section, which makes sense. Completely makes sense. So right now, I do feel that we have more pressure, or we have more of, what is this? More of an opportunity, a greater opportunity for a long, rather than a short. A short will be short-lived. Now, of course, if you think that we are going completely bearish and dropping down to, you know, zero, well then the long doesn't really work as a, you know, a better opportunity. But I don't really feel like that's the case, because we've got this, you know, the power of three. And, you know, I mentioned this before, so I'll mention it again. We got the power of three, right? First is, one is consolidation, right? Two is manipulation. Yo, my spelling is off the hook. Don't even play me like that. And three is continuation. So what we want to do is we want to basically kind of put a check mark here. So are we in consolidation? Yep. Do we have manipulation? Usually it's 2 times, just so you know. We've got manipulation here, and we've got manipulation here. So, squash that. So the third one is continuation. Now, continuation means that we're going to break out of the range in some way. So if the continuation is up to, you know, to the top of the range, then we should be breaking out of this range. But if we start to struggle over here, then I would be expecting this. So I do feel that we are getting closer to resolving this range at this point. But because we had such a dramatic drop over here, and we had such a dramatic drop over here, I do feel like people are very bearish right now. And usually when the mass of people are feeling bearish, that's time for you to do the opposite of what everyone's saying, because there's an opportunity for the market makers to really shift the sentiment in the chart. See, when we come down here, people think we're going to zero. And then they end up selling, and the market makers end up shifting it the opposite way. And that's when people lose out. Up here, everyone thinks that we're going to the moon, right? Right? That's the moon. Oh, come on, man. Like, really? What? Where's my brain? We're going to the moon. There we go. That's a better illustration, right? So here, we're going to zero down below, and we're going, you know, to the moon up top. Zero, right? So at this point, this is when they usually turn the chart around. When everyone starts feeling super bullish and, hey man, it's off the hook. Like, you know, this is exactly what I was expecting. Let's celebrate. Let's move. That's when you get caught off guard. And kind of like a football player, you know, he's running in one direction and then he spins and goes the opposite direction. That's what these market makers have to do, because the house always wins. So I'm of a mindset of, if the sentiment is that, we're down below here and we are going to zero, and I know that, I don't have to look at crypto Twitter, I don't have to look at anybody's stuff, I don't have to look at TA, I don't have to look at news, I don't have to look at any of that stuff. It's the mindset of the people. Also, the algorithm is set to trick people, because there is an algorithm in here that's pumping these charts, moving them around. There's absolutely no way that everyone can click the sell button at the same time. So if you think that, everybody's sitting there and it's a coordinated 11:51 in the afternoon and everyone suddenly got this epiphany, hey, I should sell my Ethereum, my Bitcoin, my Aave, my stock and all of that. Yeah, reevaluate a little bit, because that's not people. There's a large amount of money that is shifting these charts. Now, the other thing about that, these algorithms, is they can't go too far. They can wipe people out because they are basically, rinsing everyone. They could be, that's exactly what they're supposed to be doing. But they can't rinse everybody. They have to still leave a little bit of motion in the chart so that they can make money. Because if you start going too far away, right, everyone's going to be completely confused. They won't know where to throw their money in or anything like that. So they just do enough to wipe you out. And when they get that, that's when the chart starts shifting in an opposite direction. So I don't use any indicators. I don't look at news. I don't look at anything. I just look at the candles, because the candles tell you everything. The candles will make you go past the people and right to the algorithm. Now, one of the things that I mentioned before was that if I get into a position and, I show it on the chart, remember I got into this position and I said, I caught this long. And if it were to come back down here, I will add on to my long. I also said in my previous videos that if you didn't get into the position, then there's an opportunity for you to get in there, because it will revisit itself. And and here, why am I clicking buttons? Here it is. I got into this position right here. We went up and look what it did. It revisited that area again. You could have gotten into the same position in this zone. And look, it's gone up. And again, like, let's kind of like bring this down into the micro, right? So you bought here and we revisited here. We didn't just revisit once. We actually came in here 2 times, right? If you came over here and you bought a long, look at this. We revisited. We're always revisiting. If you bought a short, then look, we revisited. So if there is some kind of, position that I'm in, the reason why I mentioned before that you can tap in again is because you can. And usually when it comes to revisit, it tries to take the previous candle out, because you're not supposed to be making money. That's not the goal. The goal is the house makes the money. So if a lot of people are longing right over here, it will go far enough down to kind of wipe you out. In this situation, because the chart was doing what it was doing, and it was, it was going down hard and everything like that, this actually gave us a really good signal that we've got okay, let me try to do this again. This is a lower low, and this is a lower high. That's what we got right there. So notice that, this bing, bing, bing. Now, let me show you how I've played these charts. I have one of my P&L card here so that you could see how this worked. So here it is right here. This was my position. Oh my goodness, I'm just McClickies today. So here was my position here. I took a 10x long on Bitcoin right in this section right over here, and I've taken profit now, and I'm looking to take some more profit as we come up here, and it ended up working out. But what I wanted to show you is notice that I didn't DCA in, meaning like I didn't tell you that I tapped into this zone twice. I only did it once because I was looking for it to come a little bit lower so I can DCA in over here. So what I did was, on Ethereum, on the other hand, I did tap in. So I will show you how I played this zone. And again, based on last week, just so you know, I cleaned up my chart this weekend. It was weekend cleanup time. You can actually see how I cleaned this chart up, how I made these lines and everything. You can follow along and learn from there. Looks like we got this bounce on support, and that's what we were looking for. And this weekend, again, it kind of went lower and it's working its way up. I did add this line in here, this trend line, and it follows Bitcoin. And this is really kind of like what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a rejection for a third touch. Notice that we got 1 touch, 2 touch. And again, here we go with this algorithm. Is it a coincidence that Bitcoin and Ethereum chart look very similar together? Like, it's not a coordinated human thing, just so you know. So here is how I played this. Now, what I said was I got into this position right over here, and I took heavy profit along the way. And then as soon as we came back down into this area, I started to see that we were getting a little bit more support on the Bitcoin end of it. So I ended up DCAing in. I took my profit from this section and I threw it into this section right here. So I double tapped it, which is called rinse and repeat. And what I did was I put my P&L cards here so that you can actually see how it worked out. So this was my first area, and I took 3 forms of profit on this side. So let me zoom in so you can actually see the numbers. Oh, actually you can't. I need to actually scale this up like a meatball. Okay, so here we go. So you can see here's my position right here. I think this is the right card. We'll double check in a minute. And then I DCA'd in. Let me turn that on. Yeah. Oh, I think these are actually the same card. Yeah. This actually goes on this side right over here. So let me get rid of this. So this was my profit on this side. Notice that I'm over here at 253,250. This was my entry, and this was my take profit. I actually got a lower position. I don't know if I have that P&L card. All set. But what I did was when I bought in, I was actually right here. I was much lower. I was down around this zone here. I'm not gonna look for my P&L card now, but and then when I DCA'd in, you could see that I actually got in, like it moved my position up and I was able to tap. So I believe in this section alone, I was able to get, because I think I got 100%. Yeah, I think I got this. I believe that I got 120% profit on this side, on this trade right here. And then I took that profit, threw it into here, and then I got another 120% profit. So really what I got was, let's do the math. 240. That's what I got. I got 240 in this small zone. I basically 2x my money, over 2x my money in this zone with this idea of, hey, if I got into a position, let me not delete that there. That when I got into this position, we were going to come back and revisit. So this was a good position, but I took profit along the way without the idea of, hey man, we are going to the moon. No, maybe we will, but I will look for that opportunity to keep on going as we continue going higher. Meaning, if we come over here and I do take a short, if I decide to take a short right over here, I will close this short out and possibly add on to my long over here. And this is rinse and repeat and playing the chart and everything like that. And I mean, we've got our lines on the chart so that you can take a look and see where like it is a common area to where there's a common area that it actually rejects, right? Rejects. Now, is it going to reject again? Maybe. It's not going to reject forever, but I do know that this area has only 2 ways to go. It'll either break out hardcore or it'll struggle in this section and then break out. And if it breaks out hardcore, then it always has to come back here and retouch. And it does have to come back here and retouch for this one. So we've got 2 options there. So this is what I'm looking for. I am now looking on my chart and seeing where there are vulnerable spots for me to either add on to my long or take profit or take an opposite direction. So right now what I'm planning on is, this is my section right here, the 50% line, because there is a trend line right here, which we need a third touch like I mentioned. And also the 50% line is the area that there is some kind of reaction of some sort. And if you notice, it's usually over the 50% line. So I will be looking in this section, particularly right over here between the golden pocket and like this section. I will be looking in this section to see if I can possibly tap into a short for a short term, maybe a 20%, maybe a 10%. I don't know. Maybe it might not even work out, but I'm not going to go heavy into it. The only time that I go heavy into anything is when we are at really big moments of resistance and support. It's worth the swing. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about, and I think I'll kind of leave it at this, is why is it that I start with a range first? And then I start adding on things like a trend line. Well, honestly, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like, paper, rock, scissor. It's kind of like paper, rock, scissor. Each one of these are a different pattern, right? That's what I'm thinking. And the range is like the range is like paper, let's just say. You know what? Forget all of this. I'm not even gonna go there. My brain is just going into some funky ways. What it is that ranges are greater than trend lines. Ranges are greater than trend lines. And other patterns, like we've got a range, we've got a trend line, which looks like this, and we've got this triangle pattern. Also, we've got other patterns too, like this pattern, the Bart pattern. Or it is where it goes like this, a Bart pattern or anything. So these ranges here are stronger than trend lines, which are stronger than triangle patterns. And this pattern is stronger than a range. If you start to see, look, we've got this pattern right over here. It's stronger than that. So trend lines can break very easily, but they are indicators that we can use because they are really good indicators. This is obviously a trend. Now, lastly, I'm going to add one more thing to my chart here because it's important to kind of leave this here. There's money here, needs to be taken out. There's money here, needs to be taken out. Somebody left some money there. So what we're going to do is we're going to use as indicators for targets for ourselves. Let's go over to Bitcoin and let's do the same thing over here. I'm going to drop this. Somebody left money right there, and somebody left money over here. And these visuals will, like, these need to be taken out. So as it starts to go, it needs to go a little bit above to take this guy out, and then it can come back here, revisit, and then work its way up. So now we basically just gave ourselves some clues for how the chart may move as we move forward. So as far as my plan goes, what I'm looking to do is I am now on alert for this area right here. Ding, 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 ding. Again, because we're looking for a third touch. Right? And I'm going to see exactly how to play this zone. I may be taking a short. I may be adding on to my long. I'm not sure just yet. I do know that we are moving in the right direction. And I feel like as long as we are in this section right here, it's a bullish move up. I will continue to look for a long. Once we get over into this section right there, then I have to shift my sentiment into the short zone. That's why I added these notes here. So we will see. Okay, guys, I think that's enough. I've been talking for quite some time, and yeah, let's see where we go. Thanks, everyone. Have a good time. Be good. Be safe. Bye.